Good Samaritan Services grew out of a vision of individuals living in Chester County and has been impacting lives in Chester and Lancaster counties ever since. 30 years ago, a plight of homeless women and children touched the lives of Linda Whitmer, a public health nurse, and Sandy Lewis, the director of a shelter for homeless women and children. Facing the limitations of the social service programs and need for supportive services beyond the shelter led to hours of discussion and help from Sandy Hill Mennonite Church for these women to launch a test program. Bridge of Hope was born in October 1987, served the first family in 1989, and soon after opened an office in Lancaster County. A decade later, in 1999, Bishop William Washington Jr. received a vision from God to create a place of shelter for men in the Phoenixville area. This led to several individuals and churches working together to establish Good Samaritan Shelter for Men in 2002. As it grew, it expanded to provide services to women and children in Ephrata, Lancaster County in 2011. The Good Samaritan Shelter and Bridge of Hope, Lancaster and Chester counties began discussions in the fall of 2016 regarding joining organizations. This partnership made sense because for years the organizations worked together. Their missions and Christian foundations were similar, and they both served Chester and Lancaster County residents. In December of 2017, Good Samaritan Shelter and Bridge of Hope, Lancaster and Chester counties merged so that they could better serve those who are experiencing homelessness or are close to becoming homeless. The newly formed organization is Good Samaritan Services. Good Samaritan Services includes several areas of assistance so that a variety of needs of men, women, and children can be met. These include housing services such as emergency shelter programs, transitional housing programs, affordable housing programs, and permanent housing services. In addition to housing, Nourish Mobile Market is a job program that began in 2015 to employ program participants. Also, financial incentive programs are offered such as microloans, match savings, rental, and emergency assistance to provide a means to help program participants achieve goals towards financial stability. Another way to assist families is through family building services, offered to encourage healthy child development, strong family life, resilient skills, and to empower parents who have experienced homelessness. Every day, Good Samaritan Services provides help to about 180 people in Chester and Lancaster counties, but staff alone cannot meet their needs. Volunteers are critical to the ministry. When those needing help escaping homelessness enter services, it is not simply a matter of needing a home and financial stability. They need support spiritually, emotionally, and socially. When volunteers offer their resources of time, skills, and social capital, this allows participants to grow in holistic ways. This creates potential for higher levels of success as participants step into independence.
A volunteer's partnership with Good Samaritan Services is very important because of the power of relationship to change the lives of men, women, and children. As with all relationships, each party has expectations. For example, GSS staff expects volunteers to conduct themselves in a way that honors participants and staff, to be present when scheduled, and to keep the identities and information of participants in confidence. At the same time, volunteers should expect Good Samaritan staff to inform you of any changes in assignments, be grateful for the sacrifices made, and share the impact of the services volunteers have provided. All of our participants have experienced trauma of some kind, and trauma is powerful in shaping people's thoughts and behaviors. Even if it is not spoken about, trauma affects all areas of a person's being. Although we would love for all of our participants to make all positive choices and always follow program rules, show deep gratitude to all staff and volunteers for the sacrifices being made, and treat everyone with respect 100% of the time, this is not realistic or in line with people who have experienced trauma. By being aware of trauma, the volunteers' expectations may better meet the participants' needs so that the response is not one of anger or disappointment. Volunteers and staff can help people who have experienced trauma develop resiliency skills so they can better handle life's difficult situations. It is also important to understand that your role as a volunteer is to journey alongside our participants and be a resource of support for them. We do not expect you to fix them. While in services, they are at a very vulnerable point in their life and need support. This may be through making connections with a good mechanic or a lead to a job opportunity, listening to their struggles and praying with them, providing childcare while they participate in a class, or coming to clean so that they can live in a healthy environment. Whatever support you give should be as a coach or cheerleader, being with them rather than doing for them. Also, please know that our expectation for volunteers is that each is willing to help us with our needs rather than do what the volunteer wants. It may sound strange to think of a person willing to serve on their terms, but often that approach is used. Staff have appreciation when asked the question, "How can I help you?" rather than being told, "This is how I want to help you." Ideas about how to make the program better are welcome, while at the same time, please note that the staff are ultimately in charge of the programs.
The impact our participants have on volunteers and volunteers' impact on participants will be lasting. It is the hope of our staff that this impact is positive and life-giving for all involved. Thank you for serving Good Samaritan Services. You are valuable to us.